Chapter 5 Shining. When I went back inside, Ollie was still very screaming. That's 'cause Mother couldn't find his peace furs. Peace furs are what babies like to suck on. Except I don't know why. 'Cause one time I sucked on Ollie's, and it tasted like my red Snickers. Just then, Mother ran out of Ollie's room, and her hair was very sticking out, and her clothes were very wrinkly, and she was wearing one sock, and that's all. Where is it? Where is the peace fire? It's just didn't disappoint her into than air, you know, she hollered very loud. Now me and Daddy had to help Mother look for the peace for her speedy quick, 'cause she was losing her grip, I think. I looked in the couch. That's because sometimes, if you push your hand way under the cushions, you can find some good stuff under there. This time, I found 3 Chicos and the popcorn. They were very delicious. After that, I looked under Daddy's big chairs. Only it's too dark to see under there. And so I ran to get the flashlight. 'Cause I learned about flashlight in school, remember? Flashlights are fun to shine in the dark. I shined it in the dark closet, and also down the dark basement steps. Then I remember another dark place, and its name was Screaming Ollie's room, 'cause his shad were put down off his nap, that's why. I ran right there very fast. Look, I said to Screaming Ollie, I've got a flashlight. I shined it on his ceiling. See? That's the little round circle of shine up there, I says. Then I shine it on his juggled wallpaper. And see the monkey, Ollie? There's a hippopot of something, I asked him. Only Screaming Ollie just kept right on screaming, and he didn't know constantly to me. Constantly is the school word for listening, very polite. And that's how come I shined it right in his big fat crying mouth. Except for just then the problem happened, and it's called Mother sat up on me in her white sock. Junie B. Jones, what in the world do you think you're doing? She hollered. I did a gulp. Then my heart got very pumpy, because I was in big trouble, that's why. I'm shining, I said very soft. Out, she says. Out right now. And so that's how come I started to leave. Except for then the flashlight shining in the floor, and I saw something very wonderful down there. Hey, look, it's a professor! I shouted. I found the professor. It was hiding under the rocking chairs. Then I hurried to pick it up, and I gave it to Mother. Her face got relief on it. Thanks goodness, she says. Yes, thanks goodness, I said back. Mother wiped the professor off. Then she blew on it very hard. Yeah, only you can't blow crumbs off, you know, I says, 'cause stuff that been on the ground is very dangerous. And so then Mother gave me a professor, and I washed it off with soft soap and water. And guess what? Then I put it right in Ollie's mouth. And he stopped crying. Mother looked proud at me. Where did you get so smart? She says. At school. There's where. That's where, I says. Then all of a sudden, my eyes got big and wide. 'Cause very great idea popped right inside my head. Hey, I thought of it! I hollered. I thought of what I can be for job day. Then I jumped up and down, and I ran down the hall. Daddy was in his chair, reading a paper. I burst through it with my hat. I thought of it! I thought of what kind of job I can be when I grow up. Daddy says, slow down to me. That's because he didn't know what the heck I was talking about, of course. Yeah, only I can't slow down, I explained, 'cause I'm very celebrating. Now, and now I don't have the tension in me anymore. Just then, Mother came into the room. What's all the excitement about? She says. I clapped my hands together. I have an announcement. That's what it's all about, I said real happy. Well, what is it? Said Mother. Tell us. And so then I stood up straight and tall. And I told Mother and Daddy the name of the job I'm going to be when I grow up. That's a good one, right? I said very excited. That's the bestest job you ever heard of it, isn't it? Except for Mother and Daddy didn't answer me. They just kept on looking at each other. Then Daddy did a funny smile, and Mother did a word, oh boy. Chapter 6. Tingling. I couldn't sleep for the whole weekend. That's because I have tingling excitement in me about job day, and my brain wouldn't settle down. And so on Monday, I zoomed to the bus stop very fast. Look, Mr. Wu, I said to the my bus driver. Look what I'm wearing today. Then I opened my jacket and I showed him my job clothes. See, it's a nice pants and the dingling keys and a paintbrush, I says. Except for I can't tell you what I am 'cause I'm the special secret. Then I plopped down in my seat and me and Mr. Wu drove to the next corner. That's where my bestest friend Grace got on. She was wearing Mickey Mouse ears and a dress with red and white polka dots on it. Grace, I said, very smiling, you look very beautiful in that dotty thing. I know it, she says. That's because I changed my mind about who I'm going to be when I grow up. Now I'm going to be Minnie instead of Mickey. Then I stopped smiling, and my stomach felt very sicky inside again. 'Cause that means Minnie Mouse was a fake too. Disneyland is a thief, I says. After that, the bus stopped again, and William got on. He was wearing a Superman outfit, except he has a W on the front of him, and not the letter S. The W stands for William, he said to Mr. Wu. Does that mean you can fly? Asked Mr. Wu. Then William grinned very big, and he held out his arms, and he jumped way high in the air. Except for he didn't fly, and so he just sat down. After that, other kids got on the bus too. And Roger has on keys just like me, and also plastic handcuffs. And the child was wearing a red paint apron with some watercolor in the pockets. And that means Jim was wearing a white bathrobe. Hey, I got a bathrobe just like that, Jim, I said very friendly. It is not a bathroom, dummy, he says. I'm the Kung Fu carrot guy. Jim is a Kung Fu carrot guy, I said to Grace, except for he just got out of the bathtub. Then me and her laughed and laughed and laughed. 'Cause that was a funny joke, of course. And job day was going to be a funniest day in the whole wide world. Chapter 7, Job and Jobs. When I got off the bus, I zoomed to the room 9. That's because I wanted job day to start very quick. Well, only first we have to take announcements. And then we have to say up I pledge allegiance to flag of the United States of America and to the wrist belt for which it stands. Except I didn't know what that dumb story is even talking about. Then finally Mrs. clapped her loud hands together. And guess what? Job day started. That's what. Boys and girls, you all look wonderful in your outfit, Mrs. says. I can't wait to learn what all of you want to be when you grow up. Who would like to go first? I would, I yelled out. Only then my bestest friend Lucille raised her hand very polite. And he got to go first. Lucille looked the most beautifulest I've ever seen her. She was wearing a new dress that her Nana bought for her. It was the color of pink violet. Also, she has on shiny pink shoes and socks with bows and lace on them. Lucille's Nana is loaded, I think. Lucille went to the front of the room. She reached into the little bags and pulled out a sprinkling crown with jewels on it. Then all of room 9 says, ooh, except for not a boys. When I grow up, I'm going to marry a prince, she says. And I'm going to be princess. And my name will be Princess Lucille. Then she put the sparkle crowns on her heads, and she looked like a fairy tale guy. Mrs. smiled. That's a lovely thought, Lucille, she says. I know, said Lucille. My Nana say if you marry a princess, you're safe of life. After that, Lucille said her dress cost $85, and her shoes cost $45, and her lacy socks cost $60 plus tax. Then Mrs. told Lucille to sit down. Ricardo went next. She was wearing a round yellow hat. It was a kind of hat you can bang on. This is called a hard hat, he says. You have to wear it when you're building tall buildings, or else somebody might drop the hammer from way up high, and it could hit you on the head and kill you. Mrs. smiled. So you're interested in the constructions, right, Ricardo? She asked. But Ricardo just kept on talking about other stuff that could fall on your heads and kill you, like a paint cans and an electric drills and a lunchbox. Then Mrs. says, sit down to him. too. That's when William raised his hands. Only she was being very bashful, and he wouldn't go to the front of the room. You don't have to be nervous, William, said Mrs. Just tell what you want to be when you grow up. William covered his face with hands. Super William, he said very quiet. Then he got out of his seat and he jumped way high in the air. Only his caps got tangled up in his chair, and he crashed into the table. After that, Super William got very sniffling, and Mrs. said we would go back to him later. Then lots of other kids talk about their jobs. Like the boy named Clifton, who is going to be a rich and famous announced nurse. And the girl named Lily is going to be a rich and famous movie star. And also, she wants to drift it. And the boy named Ham is going to be a rich and famous boss of the big company. And he taught us how to say the word "you're fired." And here is the best one of all. Because the boy named Junior is going to be a rich and famous president of the whole United States. Cool, said Recorder. Then the other boy says, cool, too. I did a secret smile. Yeah, only not as cool as my job, I thought to adjust myself. Then I raised my hands very polite, and Mrs. called my name. Oh boy, I shouted. Oh boy, 'cause mine is even better than President of the United States. I zoomed speedy quick to the front of the room. Then my excitement wouldn't stay inside of me anymore. The janitor! I'm going to be a janitor! I hollered out. After that, I jiggled my jingly keys, and I waved my paintbrush in the air. And I clapped and clapped, only too bad for me, 'cause nobody clapped back. And here's something even worse. Room 9 started laughing very much, and it was a mean kind. She wants to be a janitor, they yelled. Then she pointed at my brown pants, and they called me the name of stupids. And I didn't know what to do, 'cause I felt very crumbling inside. And so I just kept on standing there, and my eyes got a little bit of wet in them. And my nose started running very much, and that's how comes I covered my face off. There's not having country for me as the real stuff. Only just then Mrs. clapped her angry hands together. Then she scolded room 9 a real lot. Junie B is right, she says. Being a janitor is a very important job. You have to be hardworking and reliable and very, very trustworthy. I peeked through my finger at her. Yeah, and don't forget the part where you have to save people from danger, I says. Then that Jimmy laughed right out loud. Janitor don't save people from danger, you goony bird, he says. I stamped my foot at him. Yes, they did too. Because one time I was eating a dangerous lifesaver, and janitor made me split it out. And also, he brought his flashlight to room 9, and he saved William from the dangerous stand of logs. Then I held up my jingling keys. And see those things? Keys are what janitors unlock the bathroom door with, or else we couldn't even get to the toilet. Then I showed him my paintbrush. And janitor paint little cans too, I says. The painting is the funniest thing I love. That Jim did a mean smiled. Yeah, well, too bad for you. But you're a girl, then janitor have to be a boy. So there. I run up to his table. No, they don't. You stupid head, Jim, I says. Girl can be anything boys can do, right, missus? Right? 'Cause I saw that on Sesame Street and also on Opera. Mrs. Tito smiled. Then my bestest friend Grace started to clap. And guess what? All of the other girls in the room 9 clapped too. Chapter 8. Gus Vanley. Today, janitor came to room 9 for show and tells, and that was the funniest day I ever saw. That's 'cause he brought a very big toolbox with him, and we played a game called Name the Tool. And guess what? I knew the saw and the hammer. And the backtrack sockets with a sad with adjustable ratchet. And then janitor showed us how to use his stuff. And Charlotte got to shine his giant flashlight. And my bestest friend Grace got to push his big brooms. And Lucky Duck Lucille got to clean the chalkboard with his squinty sponge. Except for that little bit of terrible happens. 'Cause I wanted the mop, only that stupid head Jim wouldn't let go of it. And so I had to pinch his arm. After that, the mop got removed from us. Remove is a school word for snatch right out of our hands. After that, janitor sat in a chair, and room 9 sat all around him. And then she told us all about himself and his job. And guess what? He's been janitor for 14 years. And he was born in a different country from ours. And his name is Gus Vanley. Hey, I love that name of Gus Vanley, I hollered out. Gus Vanley is my favorite kind of sandwich. Then I smiled very proud. And guess what else? I said to room 9. Me and janitor are bestest friends. And sometimes he called me the nickname of Sis. Then janitor winked at me. And so I winked back, except for both my eyes kept on shutting. And so I had to hold one of them open with my fingers. I really like that Gus Vanley, I whispered to my bestest friend Lucille. Only then the dumb girl named Lily heard what I says, and she started singing, Junie B got the boyfriends, Junie B got the boyfriends. And so that's how I felt very embarrassed. Me and my big fat mouth, I says. Then Mrs. laughed, and janitor laughed, and everybody else laughed. After that, janitor had to go back to the work, and so Mrs. shook his head. Then room 9 clapped and clapped for them. And janitor smiled, and his jingly keys jingled all the way out the door.